to Mahabharat Summaries. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel Mahabharat Summaries yet, please do so that you will get notified of the various episodes that I keep putting up every weekend. So last weekend we saw the story of how Vyasa agreed to his mother Satyavati's request to bestow sons upon his brother's wives Ambika and Ambalika so that these sons could carry forward the lineage of Kuru. Thus, having Vyasa's consent, Satyavati went to her eldest daughter-in-law Ambika and told her that she should be ready because at night her brother-in-law would come and unite with her and give her a son that would be the descendant of King Shantanu. Thus at night Ambika was waiting in her chambers expecting Bhishma or some other senior advisor of Hastinapur to come in. However, when Vyasa came in, he was looking very fearsome because of his odor, his matted hair and beard and his fiery eyes. Thus Ambika, on seeing Vyasa, got extremely scared and shut her eyes tight. But having promised Satyavati, both Ambika and Vyasa went ahead with the union. And in the morning, when Vyasa met Satyavati, he told her that the son that will be born to Ambika would be extremely strong, he would be intelligent, he would be brave, he would have the strength of about 100 elephants, and he would in turn give birth to 100 powerful sons. But the child will be born blind, as Ambika had closed her eyes during the union. Satyavati was worried because she felt that a blind man cannot become a king. In turn, Ambika gave birth to a son who was called Dhritarashtra. But since he was born blind, Satyavati requested Vyasa to give Hastinapur another descendant who would become a king. So she went to Ambalika and told her that Vyasa would be coming to her chambers at night and would be impregnating her with a son that would become the king of Hastinapur in future. Thus Ambalika was waiting in her chambers, and when Vyasa walked in, she got extremely scared on seeing him and his appearance, and she turned pale. But she anyways went ahead with the union, and she gave birth to a son who was pale, and he was called as Pandu, since Pandu means pale. Vyasa said that Pandu would be extremely beautiful, extremely wise, but continue to look pale throughout his life. Thus Satyavati requested him to give the queens another son who was wise, virtuous and strong. Thus she went to Ambika and told her that Vyasa would be again coming to her chambers that night. However, Ambika was extremely reluctant on getting together with Vyasa again, and so she asked her maid servant to take her place in her chambers, and she decked up the maid with good clothes, ornaments and flowers. The maid servant was waiting in the chambers when Vyasa walked in. She respectfully stood up and she paid her respect to Vyasa. Vyasa was extremely pleased with this behavior of the servant and blessed her that she would no longer be the servant of Hastinapur. And from their union a son was born, and he professed that the son would be extremely wise, and he would be righteous, he would be free from any vices such as anger, fear or desire. He would be the embodiment of righteousness or dharma himself, since he was the incarnation of Dharmaraj or Yama. So there is a backstory to the birth of this son who was later on named Vidur. Once there was a sage called as Mandavya who was performing some strong austerities and meditation outside his hermitage under a tree. Since he was performing strong austerities, he had maintained a vow of silence. So while he was meditating, a few robbers entered his hermitage with a few stolen goods. A few guards of a king were following the robbers, and they entered the hermitage behind them and discovered the robbers and the stolen material. They suspected that Mandavya was also a part of the plan of the robbers, and they arrested him along with them and took them to the king. The king, along with the robbers, also punished Mandavya, and as a punishment, a stake was pierced inside him, and he was hanged from that stake. Unlike the other robbers, the sage did not die because of this piercing, and in spite of not eating food for many days, he continued to not only be alive, but he continued his meditation and austerities while hanging from the stake. The king realized that he had made a mistake and went and apologized to the sage for his lack of judgment. He also ordered the guards to free the sage from the stake. The guards tried to remove the stake from the back of sage Mandavya, but were not able to do so. So they cut the stake in such a way that the pointed part of the stake continued to be pierced inside the back of sage Mandavya. The sage continued to live for many years with this pointed part of the stake inside his body. Thus he came to be known as Ani Mandavya. Ani means the pointed part of a needle or some other weapon. Thus he continued to perform his austerities and meditation with this stake piercing his back. And years later, when he entered the abode of Dharmaraj or Yama, he asked him why he was punished thus in his life, and the stake continued to pierce him for so many years. At that time, Dharma told him that since when Mandavya was a child, he had pierced the tail of an insect with the blade of a grass, and he was punished for this act of his later in his life when a stake continued to pierce his own back. On hearing this, sage Mandavya was very angry, and he said that when he had committed this offense of piercing an insect, he was still a child. He thus passed kind of a law on earth that which was related to being punished for one's deed, and this law said that if somebody commits a wrong deed before the age of 14, he should not be punished for it, and he should be held accountable for any wrongdoing only if he is above the age of 14. Thus sage Mandavya was extremely angry with Yama, and he cursed him that Dharmaraj or Yama would be born back on earth, and he would have to live a life of a human. Thus Yama or Dharmaraj was born on earth in the form of Vidur, who was the son of Vyasa and the maid servant. Thus in this way were born the three sons who were the descendants of King Shantanu, Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidur. In the next few episodes we will see what happened in the lives of these three who became the king of Hastinapur, and we will look at their wives and their children who were the Kauravas and the Pandavas. So keep tuned in. Bye and stay safe.